call the meeting to order. First of all, we have had 2 of our Century Club members pass away, and I'd like to have a moment of silence for Kate Crevitt and Mario Cavagiola. Thank you. Kay is very generous. All right, another announcement. And I'm just learning this, that we can change our agenda up to 48 hours before the meeting, and something came in a little bit late under our agenda. And you have a copy of our Article 3 of the bylaws for the Council on Aging. This was a big surprise to me. I got an email from our town manager. Good afternoon, all. Please see the communication attached below from the Bylaw Review Committee. They're in the process of reviewing the revision of the bylaws and are looking for your input. So this is what it says about the Council on Aging. Now, if you remember, I think it was last year, we received the charter, what it said about us in the charter. I personally have never seen these bylaws. I don't know if you have, but I never have seen them. And particularly the powers and duties. Now, it looks to me like they are blending in some of Deborah's duties as the COA director with our duties as the board. So,
In which part do you feel that way on the written?
okay. So it is the duty of the local council on aging to carry out programs designed to meet the needs of the aging in coordination with programs of the Executive Office of Elder Affairs established by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and to submit an annual report to the town and a copy hereof to said executive offices. It also says it may appoint such clerks and other employees as it may require with the approval of the town manager. And I don't think that's under our purview
So,
at all.
so I mean, I didn't know this was coming, and I didn't prepare my mind.
So that being said, none of us knew this was coming. So I'm just passing this out to you for your perusal, since it's not on the agenda, we can't really do anything with it. But I'm suggesting that we think about this for the next meeting. And what I am proposing is that we think about maybe, since it seems to be an ongoing occurrence that the director of the Council on Aging and the Council on Aging seem to keep getting intertwined and confused. Maybe we think about how we can separate these two, maybe in terms of a title change. And how you feel about that, how Deborah feels about that. Let's give us some time to think about it. But this is clearly not our purview. I don't think. I don't think we hire people. I don't think we do some of this.
So may I?
We should hire people. No.
So can I? So I'm just gonna mention, the Parks Commission has a very similar definition in terms of like hiring and appointing clerks. And those things don't necessarily mean that you're the one hiring. It means that there's a process that overlaps. And my understanding of one thing that I love about direct democracy is that messiness that must exist between elected officials, appointed officials, and the people executing the day-to-day operations. So, you know, I think clarification of the language sounds good, but the appointing and carrying out programs, like I don't necessarily mean we are running programs, but we participate on when Deb puts a program, we give her feedback on that. That's our role in that. So that's how I see that language, and that has been my experience with the Parks Commission, right? Like the Parks Commission that says we can put on programs and run programs within the parks properties or outside. So we were able to run, park programs at TCP. So, and it just meant there was that conversation back and forth, because otherwise you dissociate too much what we do with how the town is run, and then they become our role can become worthless with no role.
Well, I find that absolutely to point. However, when we hired Deb, for example, Carter and Julie did not allow the Council on Aging, if you remember, to be part of that process. So that needs to be
So I definitely,
defined.
yeah,
So I think
definitely
that
agree with you
we
on
need
that.
to be, come back for the next meeting with feedback for this. This is not, I've never seen this before, so we need to time to digest this and come back for the next meeting. Since it's not on the agenda, come back with some thoughts about this.
I have a question. When Deb was hired, must have been a job description and job duties.
Yes.
And it would seem helpful if we could see that, if we could get a copy of that compared to what the bylaws here say.
Okay.
So we could differentiate between the two, because that seems to be the problem, right?
Right,
Well, one of
that's
the
part of the problems. But one of the problems that I found, after I got this, I went to look at the bylaws to see if there was any description about department duties, to see if we had department duty descriptions for the Council on Aging. I couldn't find them in the bylaws. Now, Caesar's here, maybe he can weigh in on this, but I couldn't find.
For the Council on
department
Aging, no, I don't think there's anything day-to-day related in terms of staffing that's there, other than the establishment of the positions in the SAP, which obviously is a little different, but operationally, no.
So this is a really great area.
And so could we get a copy of the job description and posting for the director of
Yeah,
the
we can
senior
do that.
center?
Sure. Could that get sent out to the
To the council, yes.
Okay. So I think for next time, this is something that we really need to think about very carefully. I believe it's December 2nd that we have to have this feedback.
Yes, but if you need to meet in December too, it's okay.
Oh, no, we have a November meeting, but.
Right, I know, okay.
So for now, I think we have time to think about this, if we can get the job description back. But this is very interesting because it gives us powers in here that I was never aware of.
Well, I mean, I never mentioned to you that in our bylaw, and there was some back and forth. Actually, I wrote to Carter about this bylaw, and I mean, anyway, I was aware of this, and I had sent it to Carter because of his excluding the Council on Aging members for that process. But one thing, and I'm going to say this out loud so that we are all on the same page. What's very difficult for any appointed member or elected member in town is that our town council, our lawyer, actually reports to the town manager. So whatever we say, no matter what the subject is, when the town manager goes, and it doesn't matter who the town manager is, and it says, hey, what about this? They're not giving an answer to see what's best or anything. They're giving an answer to get to the result that the town manager wants. And that has been complaint that, I know my friend Karen Menard has had on several issues. So it's really hard. That's another problem that we run into is, town council does not serve us, it serves the manager.
Okay. So,
Actually, if I could, in the protocol would be, I'm assuming is that we would first address you and ask you permission to speak, is that correct?
if we were going to
And
be
you
totally
got-
formal,
Well, I
but
understand.
I'm.
I'm going back to just my old ways. And the thing of it is, I've had the same confusion with regard to Deb. Deb and I, we're good buddies, and we are. And the question becomes, I look at even our piece here, and I say, okay, on mission, is this the Lunenburg Adult Activity Center, which Deb's doing a spectacular job. Well, you really are. And then the Council on Aging, the mission of the Council on Aging. So I'm saying there seems to be a confusion between the two. And good fences make great neighbors, especially you keep expanding the gate that runs between the two properties. And Jane and I was asking Jane, can you explain how that part works versus the Council on Aging, which is, I believe, this group, and the Lunenburg Adult Activity Center. And our job is to essentially help this activity center excel at getting better, and for that matter, helping them find funds and things like that. I'm just glad that you, Madam Chairman, are addressing this, because it's going to help us a lot. Thank you.
I could just add something too, just with regard to, Anna is partially correct, I think, but it depends on how the question is posed to town council. Sometimes it's posed as, can we do this? Or, you know, and then we just, you know, you could hear back an answer you don't want to hear. You know what I mean? It is the town council's job to do that. I mean, as a lawyer for corporations and patents and all, I give answers they don't want to hear all the time. You know, I'll say, no, if you do this, you're an infringer. That's not what they want to hear, but it's my job to keep them out of trouble. Now, sometimes the town manager or the select board might want a certain interpretation where something is ambiguous, and it might be, are there any legs to this interpretation that we have? You know, so that is sort of not expressly asking for an opinion that's favorable, but yes, it's sort of hinted at. But there are times when it's just put out there, you know, just matter of factly. Can we do this? Can we not do this? Can you interpret this for us? And regardless of what the answer comes back, you know, certainly answers came back plenty of times that we didn't want to hear.
So I think our charge is to look at this, think about this. How do we want to handle this? I mean, certainly we should be good friends, as Jack said. We should be working in cooperation with each other. We should be supporting each other. That's what we're here for. But when it comes down to legalese like this, separation of not church and state, but committee and director, if it's in writing like this, how do we want this phrased? How do we want this to be? Certainly there are some things in here that our interim town manager made very clear were not our duties or privileges. So how do we want to handle this? So if you can take a look at this, since it's not on the agenda, we clearly cannot vote on it, but if you can have this ready, it will be on the next agenda, and that does give us time for when it needs to be back to the bylaw committee. So that would be great, and I apologize that I didn't realize that. And then the agenda, next time I will know, and it will be on the agenda, and you will get this in time. So, all right. Is there any public comment? We have some public here?
Public comments?
Well, but I have you on the agenda under Eagle House supporters, so if you want to be
Yes.
public, you can.
Absolutely.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All
Thank
right. You can do it in 2 places.
Two places. All right. Well, you know, the Eagle House volunteers, we do all the fun stuff here. We fundraise. So there's a couple of things on our agenda, on our calendar. First and foremost, I really would like to thank the Tea Guild for their fabulous event. It was amazing. And we are the beneficiary of the allocated the money that they raised to us. I especially would like to thank Kat Nowolski. Forgive me if I mispronounce your name, but you and your team were incredible. Next, coming up this Saturday, we are having, it's the first time we're fundraising at the Teen Center. They're having a family scare fundraising there from 4:30 to 6. So if anybody wants to show up with their children or grandchildren, we will have a baking sale table there. Saturday, October 18, 4:30 to 6. And then November is just our calendar. All right, November, this is our first, we're doing a collab with the Teen Center. We're gonna have a toll booth from 8 to 2, but we allocated 8 to noon. So please, on your way to Smokestack Cafe or Hannaford, just drive by, drop a couple of dollars on the way back from the bank. Yay, $10, $20, throw it in there. Make sure you don't run us over. I'm sure you won't. Okay, yes.
What was that date again?
That was Saturday, October 25th. And we're 8 to noon, and the teens will take over noon to 2. So it's going to be a fun day. It's amazing. Like the Lions Club are so wonderful. They're going to lend us the vests and everything, all the gears that we need for safety for that day. Right. Now, we have next what is called the Festival of Trees. And what we would like is that, we've been asking a lot of the corporation and individual here in town and around. It will take place here at the Lunenburg Adult Activity Center. You can purchase a tree, like about 3 or 4 feet, about my height, right? And decorate it however you want it, with whatever theme you want it. You donate that tree to us and we'll take care of it afterward. The public will be here. The tree should be here on Friday, November 21st. It's right here, in the newsletter. If not, we have Thursday, sorry. Thursday?
They'll drop off their trees and then we'll have it all set up and they can come view them on Friday.
On Friday, viewing's on Friday then. Yes. And they'll bid on it, and that's our first fundraising. It's going to be fabulous. It's going to be Santa here, and again, tons of baked goods for you to sample. And we hopefully will have a tree, the Eagle House supporters, and maybe the Council on Aging would like to do their own tree. That would be wonderful if you want to participate. And that's all I have right now, I think, for November, coming up, October. Thank you.
Thank you, that's amazing.
If I could correct. Hats, the Lunenburg hats, we
Yes.
talked about in a few sessions. Is there
Yes.
anything going, I would like a hat, especially some of these balls on it.
It's cold. It's cold. And you're talking about a cap,
Baseball cap or something.
A baseball
It
cap.
says Lunenburg on it. And maybe if we get real creative, we could put it town hall or we could put the senior center.
You got it.
Yeah,
But not the seal.
not the senior.
Not the
No,
seal.
yeah.
No. We won't use the seal. We'll use the recognize.
The problem.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for the suggestion. Yes.
Thank you for all your work, we really
Thank
thank you.
you.
That sounds like amazing things you have in common. Okay, do we have any board comment? You're gonna get a chance at the end too, but any board comments so far?
I have something, I have an update on the Groton Center satellite emergency. They broke ground according to the Worcester Business Center, and they expect, if they get final approval from the Department of Health next fall, to be open late fall or early 2006. They have a picture online. It's quite a large facility, and it's going to be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they're going to have full services, medical, nursing. They're going to have some mental health services, and they're going to have beds there for people who need temporary beds before transfer. And the other thing is they're going to have a helipad. So they'll have ambulance transfer to nearby hospitals and helicopter transfer to further away. So I think that's a lot of progress. And if you go online and look at the facility, it's really quite large and quite amazing. I was impressed myself.
So now you know the completion date on this project?
No, they don't, because they broke ground. They have to get, once the building is finished, they have to get the out here of health to come in and approve it. And once they approve it, then they can open it. But they're estimating late 2006, early 2007. So they're kind of hedging their bet.
26 and 27, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Did I say that? No.
If you said 2007.
26 and 27.
Sorry. Do we need to wait for a battery change? Okay, that's item 3 under current business, so I'm going to add something to that, and we'll skip that, we'll get to it. We have a cardiologist, Sterling Cardiology, and he just sent a letter that he was leaving the practice, and we were panic stricken, and I called him and saved everybody some, hopefully out there in TV land as well, and saved everybody some headaches. And I ended up being sent to Worcester and was on hold and calling back and all of this. Well, it turns out that I ended up back at Leominster Cardiology, which I thought they left. Yes, I thought they left. We had been told there was no Leominster Cardiology anymore. Well, there is Leominster Cardiology. And our cardiologist from Sterling is back at Leominster Cardiology, so for all of those folks that, can you tell us who the doctor is? It's Mark O'Connor. Leominster Cardiology is alive and well, so that's good news. So, any other board comment?
If I could, basically I had a chance to meet and speak with Representative Scarsdale. And we talked about a lot of things, and getting in my other part, but essentially, I was asking her, would she be interested in coming and speaking to this group on a kind of quasi-regular basis? And she was saying, yes, she would love to. But at the same time, she goes, you know, you really need to make sure you ask Mr. Kushmerek and Mr. Cronin if he wants to, because otherwise we might be getting her in trouble with the others because of so if it would make sense, we could bring a representative in and let them tell us what they're working on. All I know is that the more they see of us, the more they're going to work towards helping them get money.
That sounds awesome.
And wherever we can. And I know that, Deb, you had a pile of requests out for funds in different groups. And so if we could do something like that, hear what they're working on, they would love to hear from us. And so if we could put
I
them on.
will send them invitations.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's the piece on that one. So I'll wait for the section.
All right, thank you.
I have one other thing. I just happened to be reading online this morning that apparently the Groton Music Center is going to be starting their Wednesday afternoons free concerts in, I don't know exactly, and I just skimmed it, you know, but that might be something we could get, like a small bus or, you know, a van to bring people that would like to go. So,
Thank you.
anyway, I'll try and look at
And Deb, I'd like to personally thank all of you for the lovely flowers that you sent to my mother's wake and funeral. They were spectacular, and as you all know, she was a big lover of flowers, so it couldn't have been a better gift. And also, I think that my appreciation and my family's for the memory tree is very near and dear to us. That's something we give as gifts, so I appreciate all of that.
Thank you very well. She was very dear to us. She was our first century
I know
choir
she was.
member. We all loved her. Okay, so, minutes. Did you all have a chance to read our minutes? Importantly, there is in the minutes approval, did you all receive the email from Sarah Kammer? We're going to discuss that in 41A, in section 41A. But I'd like you to note, it does say, in the minutes approval, motion to support Mr. Rabbit, representing the COA to work with the town towards the 41A tax exemption. By Ms. Lockwood, seconded by Ms. Ale, approved unanimously. Now, it's a little bit out of the regular format, but Ms. Kammer was looking for somewhere that we had approved Mr. Rabbit to go ahead with the 41A. It is in our minutes. These have not been published. Ms. Kammer was looking online for our agenda, for our minutes. I want it noted that this was in our minutes. I don't want to throw Mr. Rabbit under the bus. We did approve
Right,
him
we
to
did
do
it
that.
twice.
Yes.
We did it
Yes.
verbally the first time,
Yes.
and then we became aware and I gabbed, and we said, look, can we make this a formal vote that's recordable?
Yes.
I don't know why Sarah didn't watch, it's just.
Yeah, but
it's
anyway, it
crazy.
is in here,
It's
and
good.
I just want to note that officially, and that it is in our minutes. It was not on the agenda because once again, it came up at the last minute, and so it wasn't officially on the agenda. Maybe we should do the agenda a little bit closer to the meetings, because it seems like things are coming up. Yeah, maybe like a week before the meeting, instead of 2 weeks before the meeting, we can talk about that. So anyway, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes? Oh, sorry.
Good, sorry. Did we want to, it may be, too much cure, but did we want to take a vote to ratify our previous vote to allow Jack to work with the town? So I will make a motion to, if you will accept the motion, to ratify our previous vote to authorize Jack to work with the town to, on a 41A article for town meeting.
Is there a second?
Can I amend that as such?
Yes.
With your permission, I would like to ask that with regard to issues addressing the assessors and for that matter, the tax piece, I would like to have permission to interface with the Board of Assessors on specific issues. Because I've got a lot of minutes, work coming down the pike. And so I can get at least a discussion. I wouldn't ask for your approval until we had it.
Is that within the scope of work with the town to a 41A?
41A is pretty specific and it's
Yeah.
on the agenda,
Yeah.
And it's-
but generally.
Right, I know, but I mean, like, I don't know if that, is that fairly within the scope of what's on the agenda this week? We don't want to go into it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I'm happy with what
why don't we just leave it as it is? If we would, if you would, well, that's all right.
Could you repeat it?
All right.
What's it?
Repeat it? Repeat your
Oh,
motion.
boy, repeat it. I move to ratify this Council on Aging's previous vote to authorize Jack Rabbit to work with the town, which is what that vote was, on an article under 41A for the creation of an article for town meeting.
That's it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone, any discussion? All right, passed unanimously. Oh, are you taking this?
Paul Molly's gonna watch.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm taking my own notes.
Okay, I looked around in this computer, taking notes. Okay, all right, so on to the minutes. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second, all right. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. Okay, moving on. New business, tri-board report.
So I did put it in each of your packets. This is the report that I presented to the tri-board.
Which, if you can explain the tri-board, that would be great.
So what they wanted to do is get a jump on the financials this year. So the tri-board is meeting together. It's the finance committee, the school committee, and the select board. And they're just kind of going over all of the departments in the town, just to see, so that everybody has a clear view of what everybody's doing. So this was just, this is on YouTube, the town's YouTube channel, and it was just a PowerPoint presentation in regards to where we are as far as last year's numbers. We renovated the kitchen, what programs, outreach, Meals on Wheels, transportation services we offer. There's just some photos of some of the events and programs that went along here. Then there was some trend, year-over-year trend. So we put in here, you know, from 20, and I have to apologize because like I said, I'm wearing my husband's readers. My phone was broken. And this is really little print. So we're looking at 2020 to 2021 for today, as far as figures. And then the census projections are in here, so you can see up until, I believe it's 20, I can't read it,
2050, is your
2050, thank you. So up to 2050, what the projections are for the population of Lunenburg. Then we have our COA budget numbers that we presented. Then we have our chart as far as staffing. And then we talked about long-term staffing. We talked about our 2027 goals. And then what our budget request was. And so our budget request that we had put in was for $268,143. So, and that covers all of our expenses.
Did you get any responses from?
It was more like a presentation, so we just kind of, you know, put it out there. There's going to be another meeting. There was more data that was requested, so there will be another meeting of the tri-board, probably closer to after the New Year's timeframe. And then, like I said, then they will have met with everybody, and then we can sit down and, you know, fine tune everything.
There was a lot of positive comments about the senior center and how much people and families appreciate us. So that was there.
And I do have to put a shout out to Muir, because before my meeting with the select board, Muir goes, "Do you have your PowerPoint done?" I'm like, "What?" He goes, "You need a PowerPoint." So he sent me the PowerPoint, and we got it together and got it done. So thank you, Muir.
Madam Chair, may I? Okay. So on that presentation, we had talked about, in the past, you had brought up moving to an assistant director. And on the presentation, you had listed that you want to do that for FY27. You also had a program director as a part-time add-on. And on the presentation, you talked about, you know, wanting to have more free time to apply for grants and so forth. So based on that presentation, I put together what I saw as questions about related to those things, and I had sent it to you after the last meeting. You know, especially with grant opportunities, the scope and requirements of grants, anticipated benefits, the funding source, where are they coming from, is it the state or and what are the total possible available grants. So within this presentation, this was my comment during the tri-board is, you know, I would be, I get this, but this would be the story to do this. And I had sent you this last meeting, after our last meeting. Is this something you had time to, what is your thought on this? Are you gonna, what is the plan?
Yeah, I mean, I do have to go back through and in more detail for the next tri-board meeting. But yes, so basically, the program coordinator would be 18 hours a week, and it would take place in the 2 kitchen aids that we have currently. So basically, it would not be changing my budget at all as far as the numbers, but setting up for this meeting here, you're setting up this, you're setting up for this, you're setting up for that, you're taking down for yoga, you're putting up for line, there's a lot of physical back and forth between every program and things like that, which takes a lot of time, which I can be better spent in there. So that was the program coordinator. And as far as the grants, I've attended a few preliminary meetings as far as grants, as far as transportation. So that's one of the ones I'm looking into right now because, you know, like I said, without a hospital, you're looking at bringing people to Emerson. You're looking at bringing people to different locations. So we definitely need more than that one van that's bringing people around that 618. So like I said, we have, you know, whether we get 2 vans, whether we have a vehicle for medical rides, you know, whatever it is. So I'm working on that type of grants right now. But also there's so many grants out there. It's just to find the one that you need for what you need.
So now that I brought these things up in the meeting, I'm going to forward it to the group. For me, I would need more specific information on the things you just talked about it. I mean, all these sounds like great ideas.
Yeah.
But,
and I can only talk about the ones I know about currently.
Right, and I'm not disputing that. So all of those things sound like great ideas, but we need to formalize those ideas into, you know, a high-level plan. And the other thing I would ask is, before, you know, we had talked about changing things here, but we had never discussed as this group, which I've never in that meeting, when you say, you know, I'm looking for, you know, moving to a assistant executive director and moving, but we never discussed here as a group on that.
It was brought up in our, when we talked about our budget, it was brought up at a council on aging meeting.
Right, so there's a difference between being brought up, in my view, and be open for discussion onto what is that this group is looking for, what do we think it's going to be, sort of like a feedback.
So that might be more with the bylaws, because
So can I just finish, because I wasn't, so let me just finish elaborating what I don't think that's with the bylaw, because that's the whole point of us, is to find ways to work together for better, all people aging in Lunenburg. I think creating a open communication where we're working together to develop an excellent plan should be the goal. You know, just let me tell you, anyway, what I ask you is to, before bringing a full executed plan to the tri-board, to have that conversation first. Like a full plan of, like, we had never seen this packet that was presented in the tri-board. So all I'm saying is let us support you, bring those ideas to us, let us discuss, deliberate, and come up with a plan. Allow us to give you feedback and see where we land, so that you have our full support, so that, because that's how we do, like, we've been doing things in Lunenburg that way. Of, you know, the director comes and gives us ideas, we develop the idea, we support those ideas. It is our goal to support your ideas. So that's all I'm asking.
So along those lines, if you, now that we have a chance to see this, it would be great to have some feedback for the next meeting.
Yeah, one page of this report that definitely copies is these census projections on this page. I'm only roughly eyeballing this stuff, but so the growth, when you look by 2050, you've got 9,000 growth of 9,001 people between the ages of 0 and 49. But you have growth of 6,590 people, 50 plus, which just, up into 85 plus. No, I didn't do the percentage, but it seems the growth among the population 50 plus is disproportionately greater going out into those future decades, which I admittedly, I always watch the select board meetings, those I am in tune with, but I haven't watched the master plan committee meetings, and the steering committee meetings, I've watched a few of them, a few of them. I'm not as in touch with what's going on there, but the idea of addressing senior living needs, senior housing, assisted living, ought to be part of this conversation at the master plan steering committee. And I know that there have been efforts to get that into the conversation, but I think this outlines it. And I think this, if they're not already, maybe they are already aware of these projections, they ought to be in that discussion. So.
Just to add to that point, when I saw those numbers, I also realized this population change that's going on in terms of aging, but it's also a function of penetration in the market itself, in terms of how many people are coming here. And historically, I think it's been a little bit, it's kind of stayed the same. But Deb, since you've been here, it seems like it's both Debs. Both Debs. It seems like the population participation rate, the penetration of that market is increasing. So I didn't have a problem with the growth in that number. And I think that's going to be our challenge here, is that you're going to get a lot more people showing up because it's a lot more fun than anybody ever imagined.
In your packet, you do have the year over year from last year.
Yeah.
From January to September, and this year from January to September. And I think it's up like 900 check-ins from last year.
And that begs a bigger problem for this particular group. Remember, we're about 30% of the population. This building, we might outgrow it. We're probably getting close to that, at this point in terms of the services. So I appreciate highlighting that number, and I agree with you. We need to get to the folks that are doing the planning and say, hey, what about us?
I did not originate this thing. I know efforts have been made to do that.
We'll believe it.
But I mean, this really drives it home. I mean, I hadn't seen this chart. But also, I mean, just because you have to think of everything when you're select board, right? I mean, I hate to put it in terms of raw dollars like this, but it actually benefits the tax base to have people 55 plus in here and buy houses, because they are paying taxes and they typically don't have kids in the school system. So it actually helps the bottom line to do that, because it costs way more. You have families, I support the schools. We never used the public schools. I supported the overrides. I supported the building of the new public school because I believe in supporting the education. We have a duty as a society to educate the populace. We don't function as a democracy without people being educated. I'll leave that there. The family, and it's fine, but a family with like 2-3 kids in the school is paying nowhere near the amount of taxes, typically speaking, that it costs to educate their kids. So that to the extent that you have people who don't have kids in the system, either because they're not using the public school system, or they just don't have school-age kids, it helps the base, it helps the tax base. So, just a thought. If you want to just put it in terms of dollars, and you don't otherwise care about seniors, I'm just saying, if you care about dollars, it makes sense. So.
Any other comments? And please feel free to peruse this and comment. It will be on the agenda for the next meeting if you're seeing this for the first time. Okay, Tea Party recap. So as representative from the Eagle House supporters has said, it was wildly successful. We made close to $4,000. I believe the final total after expenses was $37.97, somewhere hovering around the $3,800 level. And I want to thank Kat Novoselsky. Is that right? I think I got that one right.
You said it better than me.
She was amazing, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but everybody just stepped up. It was an incredible event, and I think that everybody outdid themselves.
It was lots of fun.
It was,
Yeah.
and almost everybody participated. I want to thank Jim for lending us his wife. Jack was out there helping people bring all their paraphernalia in. My husband is happy that he has part of our house back. Anyway, it was an amazing event, and thank you everybody. And I'm going to move on to thank yous because Kat is unable to have her usual thank you party. She's going to Spain, which is well deserved for all the work she put in. So I don't know how you feel about this, but I brought thank you cards, which we don't need addresses. If anybody wants to help write thank you cards, we can, I can get addresses from Kat for people who don't come here. I have copies of the program, so we know who to thank. And if you want to see me afterwards, we can divvy up these. If you feel, I don't know how you feel about this, but I think we should thank people. And it would be fun to have these little cards. And I can pass this out to people and you can check them off and see who you'd like to personally thank. I think we should send personal thank you notes. As I said, they don't have to go in the mail to some of these people. Some of these people frequent, most of them frequent the center. So I have copies, thank you, of the program which mentions every person that contributed. And we can figure out the people that don't come here, and I'll get those addresses from Kat. So there's that. And
Send us, as far as I'm concerned, you know.
well, we'll see about that. No, we don't have to. Anyway, so I have that. Okay, so that, and along those lines, I know that we're not having a volunteer recognition party, but as you can tell, I'm sort of big into thank yous. So I think we should, I talked to Pauline. I interrupted her vacation, didn't know she was on vacation, and she responded to me, like, what are you doing responding to me on your vacation? And I said, how hard would it be for you to pull up a list of everybody who's volunteered? Because I see these amazing people here in the kitchen and desk and everything, and I think waiting till next year just rubs me the wrong way.
I wish you should have asked, because we do have a program in my senior center
Yes.
that records all
She
volunteers and
said, she said
hours.
that, she said that. So
Yes.
Yes, she said it would take 2 seconds to bring that up. And who would like to volunteer? I volunteer. Who would like to volunteer to write little thank you notes to our volunteers? Because we're not doing a volunteer recognition, so how do you feel about that? And those don't have to go in the mail either, you can just leave them here. But how do you feel about that? All right, so I'll get a list, and we can divvy those up. How do you feel about that?
Wonderful. Yes.
I think that's a great idea.
I think so too. We should
All right.
have one.
Okay,
Just a-
all right, we can divvy those up. We'll get a list of the people that volunteer. I just think that waiting until next year, they've just done so much. And there's been so many, so many hours that they've had to, right here, they are right here. And so we should thank them. Okay, so, there they are. Yes.
From a male perspective. You wanna know
Are you
what
a
I got?
dull man?
I'm a dull man, that's a different group.
Oh, okay.
But I am a dull man.
Yeah.
But in either case, as a dull man, I was amazed at what a show that was going on here. I mean, you had the antique cars peeping up, coming in, people books in their roaring 20s outfits. The tables were decorated beyond belief. It was like you went to Disneyland all of a sudden. I mean, you folks put on a really, really, really good show. We need to double the size of this place because clearly we could get a lot more. You have folks sitting out here too?
No.
No, there's not there.
There was a table just selling the little
Fascinators,
fascinators,
is that what it was?
hats, and then we had the big shop in the other room.
But
No,
it-
we had 9 tables in here.
It was just a wonderful show, and this is part of what makes the new great. It really is. And this is turning it, this is the heart. This is becoming the heart. Maybe I'm just becoming aware. But this is the, okay, the selectmen of the heart, okay. Okay, the soul. We got 2 in the back here. We got 3 of them in here. Anyway, really, the 2 are pretty, you guys did a great job. You really did.
Well,
Just the males perspective.
Kat was the great organizer. She did an amazing job, and she ended up doing 3 tables this year.
Which you will.
3 tables. So, it was-
Just for the record, for the camera, we have 2 active select board members here, a former select board member, there is no quorum. So, just
Such a lawyer.
Okay.
Good count.
So moving on to item number 4, and this is just because when I'm in the shower, I do my best thinking. I don't sing, which is probably a good thing because I can't sing anymore. But, so I'm in the shower and I'm thinking, we just, as you probably know, Pete's having shots to his knees because he had his shoulder done first, and now he has to have his knees done. And so we had we pulled out our bathtub and put in a safe shower, as I'm sure many seniors are having to do. And it was quite the to-do, and it was fairly expensive, and, we didn't do Jennifer Bilo, as I'm sure you've seen all those commercials ad nauseum. But I was thinking, I'm wondering how many seniors have to leave their homes because it's unsafe and they can't afford this. And I'm wondering if we can, as a group, maybe approach our wonderful representatives and senator about sponsoring a program to help seniors get safe shower installation assistance. How do you feel about that? So for the next meeting, maybe think about how we could put together some sort of letter, email, something to our wonderful representatives about that. I think that's something that's really important for people. It can be cost prohibitive, and it can prevent people from being safe in their own homes. So I don't know if you want to put together a committee to write a letter, to get some statistics about the cost of that, if we want to involve the select board in something like that. But I think that it's something that is really important to our seniors for safety. How do you feel about that, Caesar?
Yeah, I'm happy to look into it with you guys.
Just in the meantime, before any of this can go into effect, Our Lady of the Lake in Leominster does have adaptive equipment. So they do have top chairs that you sit on one side and slide into it, and there's different equipment that they can get for no charge to keep them safe in the meantime.
That's great to know. Thank you.
If they need the phone number, they can just call here.
Madam Chair, if I could make a suggestion, perhaps
Of course.
Pauline, who's well into that community, because, you can get elevators, the state to help you put in, you can help with the roof, and with all sorts of things. And with your permission, Deb, we would like to, let's go find out what Pauline knows.
Right. I was hoping she would be here.
Yeah.
We did have a program through the state, it was through the Community Economic Development Office, that people could do adaptive repairs to their homes.
Yeah.
Let's find out about
Package it up.
that particular item. I think that sort of sprung to mind. Well, it was not singing in the shower. Okay, so I'm gonna ask Anna, because I'm still having a lot of eye issues, which are unresolved, and I can't read very well. I'm gonna ask Anna if she would talk about Representative Kuchmarik's bill for caregivers. I asked her to do a little research for that. He's filed a bill for caregivers. She would report on that.
Yeah, so Mr. Kuchmarik, along with another representative called David Rogers and Senator Joanne Comerford, they filed a bill, which the bill is called an act supporting family caregivers. And they did this in coordination with the AARP Massachusetts. Fun fact, the director of AARP Massachusetts is our very own Jen Benson. She took over in the beginning of this year, I believe. So in short, the bill is looking to, the bill as is presented is looking to give a refundable tax credit of up to $1,500 to caregivers, respite voucher for middle-income families. So, if you're a caregiver and you just, have a voucher that you can put your loved one maybe for a weekend in order to get some respite. Unemployment insurance eligibility for caregivers who leave the workforce in order to take care of their loved ones. Also workplace protection against discrimination. And authorization for eligible spouses to be paid as caregivers. So if you're in Massachusetts, you can be a paid caregiver for someone in need, and actually that crosses multiple ages. But if you're a spouse, you don't have that support. But he's looking to expand that support. And the creation of a permanent commission to address caregiver needs. And so I think this is a great bill. It's great that he's doing coordination with ERP. And I think it's the realization of society that, we're better off supporting caregivers than having to open and maintain nursing homes for all the aging population. So supporting them. So I appreciate that, and it was great to see Jen Benson's associated with this as well.
Just to add to Anna's,
Has it been
70%.
filed?
It has been filed, and I think it's in the committee now, which is part of that process. So the hearing was on, I think, September 15, and he gave a presentation along with Jen Benson as well. So hopefully we'll get it through. We'll pass the commission.
I was just going to say, there was a study done, and 70% of caregivers over the age of 70 die before the person they're caring for, because they don't take care of themselves while they're caregiving. So caregivers have been a huge issue as far as getting them some assistance, because caregivers don't care for themselves.
So I personally not representing the COA. Now, Anna brought this to my attention, which is why I asked her to give the report. I, as a person not representing the COA, wrote and thanked Representative Kuchmarek for this. But I'm wondering if our caregiver connection would like to write to him
On behalf of the council?
On behalf of the council. I don't know if you want to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I deferred from doing anything representing the council until I spoke with you folks. Thought it might be more appropriate coming from you than from me. So if you want to do that, I thought that would be great. So you can work that out, you folks. But I think this is wonderful that this is going on. And it's so easy to miss what they're doing for us. So thank you, Rita.
Deb and I attended last month was it last month? I lost track of time. A AARP caregivers workshop, and they mentioned all this, and they mentioned Representative Kuchmarek and everything that they're doing. But the AARP has a lot of resources out there for caregivers.
Okay, so the
If I could make a suggestion, let's invite him in. Let us tell us the whole thing that's going on. I mean, it's up to you guys.
Well, AARP said they would be willing to come here.
As well as Mike Kuchmarek.
yes, I have gone, and you personally thank him as well.
Yeah.
That's on my list to invite him to come.
So,
So,
Yeah, I mean, things are important and, you know, passing on the information to the public is the way to get the support for the village.
just so you know, tomorrow night, they're having, PAC is having a new program, and it's, I guess I'm the first guinea pig. They're interviewing all the chairs of the boards. I don't know what the program's called, I can't remember, but anyway.
Committee confidential, I think it is.
Committee confidential,
Yeah.
that's it. So I'm their first guinea pig. So I will try to bring to the public, one of the questions they're gonna be asking is how can they know more about our meetings? So I'll be saying, go to YouTube! Please watch us on YouTube, because I don't think we're gonna get a huge audience at 9:30 on Tuesday mornings, but please go to YouTube and I'll give them all that information. Because I think we have a lot to offer at these meetings for our elders. Okay, 41A report, I think we talked a little bit about that.
I got more.
I was gonna say, would you like to add to that, Jack,
Thank you
please?
so much, Madam Chair. Yes. The
And it's
41,
on the agenda.
yeah, I know, we can't get in trouble on this one, especially when we go over on that side. The reality is the 41A is gonna go to town meeting, and I talked to Jen this morning about that. And the question that was part of the hang-up was the circuit breaker had to get voted to be applied to the 41A, and that's the intent of this next town meeting. It is on the warrant, it's on the warrant draft. The selectmen make the decision on the 21st.
By the 21st.
By the 21st. And so far, it looks like everything could be there, and then we need them on a campaign to tell everybody, hey, you don't have to pay your taxes. And the interesting thing about it is currently the numbers, if you're married, household, you can earn up to $109,000. You're not excluded from that. If you're single, and you can get up to 72, up from the 20, and both of them up to 20. So that's the good news on that particular piece. And since it's another topic, but for public discussion. That's it. That's it.
All right, okay.
That's it.
So, you didn't say what 41A is.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry.
I just want to make sure, like, for the public,
Yeah.
you know.
It's basically, it's not an exemption, it's a deferral. You're not paying your tax. 41A is in reference to the laws, the tax laws. The intent is to help folks if they need some extra cash. Typical household in Bloomberg is $5,000 to $6,000. You'll be able to avoid. And at the same time, we're trying to encourage people to make sure that we use the circuit breaker as well, but that can add another couple thousand back into your income. So you don't have to pay it back until you either sell a house or you don't have to pay it back because you're dead. So yeah, I know.
It can be when you sell the property.
Sell the
as well,
property as well,
Okay?
yes.
So, you know, one thing that I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, this article already exists and is applied to Bloomberg, but the eligibility income has been fixed for about 2 decades at $20,000.
That's correct.
And what they're doing now, they're changing that from $20,000 to up to $109,000, what you said.
Yeah.
And that was a vote that the Board of Assessors took in order to support that. I don't know how they came up with that number, but is it your ability to defer your taxes
That's-
until the property gets sold?
Right. Personal real estate tax.
Your personal-
income.
Yeah, your personal real estate tax. So I want to take the opportunity to thank the Board of Assessors for taking a look at that with your advocacy and changing the income to more realistic to what it is. Because, you know, I find interesting this number. The average household income for Bloomberg is $107,000. So this is a really good target to the majority of our households, I would think, would now be able to benefit from this.
I think that, and even speaking with Jen, it's not taking money out of the town.
Right.
All it is doing is causing the town to come up with a different way of floating it. And before, and one of the issues was that all the exemptions, I don't know how anybody can live on those exemptions, but we had maybe 20 or so that folks were done that. This is going to open it up. I'm guessing if, once we push it, we're going to go from 20 to 40 to 80 to maybe 100 in terms of decibels. And that makes a big difference. So, and then hopefully we'll steer them into the circuit where they can pick it up on the income side, the tax side. So that's where they are right now.
Tell it to TV.
Okay, I can tell. Oh, okay. Think about a deferral. If you have any real questions, Pauline is equipped to answer the deferral questions for you. And for that matter, of course, our Board of Assessors. The Board of Assessors are overwhelmed right now. There's, as is our chairman is being overwhelmed. So, yeah, if you want some help on your taxes and you're over 65, talk to us. We're more than happy to do that. And if I could, since I'm gabbing about this, in my conversations with Margaret this morning, we have the opportunity to maybe explore more grants. And I know that Deb has been going at 180 miles an hour trying to do that and the other pieces. How many grants do you have in your in the process you're looking at? How many you think?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I know there's that
I
many.
mean, right now it's the Cultural Council, plus the transportation grants, plus there's some
Right.
state grants.
Right. So Margaret's going to send us over a listing of all the potential grants that are going on. At the same time, a listing of where we can go to look at how other towns are doing and in relationship to even potentially the impact that Lunenburg created some notoriety with regard to not spending about a pile of money. I won't go exactly, but the thing of it is, a lot of people are griping right now that, well, we didn't need the override. The reality is, from sitting back, we probably did, but this has been bailing us out. All I know is I want to try and find a way of getting us more money into our center here, into our seniors. So if, with your permission, I will continue to explore this, and if with the permission of the board, allow me to work with Deb on trying to help.
That'd be great. And I have been in communication with Representative Kuchmarek and Senator Carmen, so we're
Margaret.
working with them.
Not so much
And
Margaret, but
Yeah.
Margaret. So, but I would need permission from the board, and at this time I would ask for a vote versus a, I don't want to get in trouble with anybody.
All right.
Okay.
Do I hear a motion to give, the board to give permission for Jack to continue to work on
The funding
the funding?
piece, yeah,
Yes,
the
grant
grant
funding.
writing with Deb. Because I am consuming some farm.
It's on the agenda, so do I hear a motion?
Can you just make a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? All those in favor?
Deb, you're in favor?
Thank you, Jack. Yes.
You do,
All right.
you were working so
Motion
hard.
passed.
That's what I appreciate.
All right. Thank
And
you.
Deb, both Debs.
All right. Anything else on that? You all set?
I'm in trouble.
Go to town meeting and vote for it. All right, Padula Day, that has not picked up a lot of steam.
Incoming
but-
voice call from the Mass Memorial Health Alliance Hospital.
My goodness.
Is that your ringtone?
That has
Hurry.
not picked up a lot of steam, so I did hear from Robbie Bristol out of Colorado. He wrote me a very nice piece about Mary Padula. So I'm suggesting an alternative, since Caesar's here, and we have another board member here, that maybe we could have just a citation and maybe November 21st, which is her 100th birthday, maybe we could just have a Mary Padula Day, just nominally. And since that is the Festival of Trees, we can't really do anything here. So I don't know how you feel about that, but just honoring her on her 100th birthday, rather than trying to have a celebration here, because that has not picked up steam at all. And Caesar, I'd be happy to send you
Yeah, I was gonna say
what
that's,
Rob
Sure.
sent to me.
okay.
I did speak with Kathy Herrick and Ellen in the town clerk's office, and they may be able to give you some additional info, but neither one wanted to speak, do any public presentation. They were, no surprise on the town clerk's part.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
okay, I'll give you some information on that.
I'm wondering if we should put something out, if there's any other people that do it personally and.
Well, I asked them,
You,
and they had put some feelers out, and nobody really wanted to get up and speak, and she's,
but even if they wrote something.
I know,
And somebody's-
I asked, and
And they didn't even want to-
nobody was really, so maybe if we just have a petition, we can talk about it at the select board meeting. If anybody wants to contribute to her citation or whatever it would be, that would be great, but I don't think we can do a celebration. I don't think that's gonna happen. So, does that sound okay?
Okay.
All right, I'll talk with you about that later, okay? All right, financial reports, this is not quarterly. There was a first program for the Caregiver Resource Connection, and maybe you want to talk a little bit about that. It was hugely successful, I thought, it was wonderful.
It was a wonderful presentation. It was well received. People asked good questions. I just think it was wonderful. We have another one coming up, and I will be in touch with Bill, who's going to come and do it. This one takes place at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Do you have a
Correct.
date?
The October 22nd.
October 22nd. So we still have a little bit of time for that. Hopefully word of mouth is going to get out and more people will come. This one's at 4 o'clock for those caregivers that couldn't come during the day. I know there was some concern that 4 o'clock is when the sundowning starts for people with dementia, and there may be difficulty with people getting there, but at the same time, we've also got to help the caregivers that can't come during the day because of work or whatever, because there are a lot of caregivers that are trying to do full-time jobs and do caregiving. So we'll see how this one goes, and then the third one will be back during the day. So hopefully, word of mouth, and it's going to be even bigger than the last one.
I'd just like to mention that our speaker was Kayla Douglas, and she did a wonderful job. She actually has a private business dealing with home care assistance and all the issues that come up with home care assistance. And I noticed in the Lunenburg paper, she's going to be giving another talk to another local senior center. I can't remember which one it is, but she was excellent.
Cheryl's Loving Light.
Yes. Loving Light Home.
It was in the Ledger. There was a little
Yes.
article about her.
Yes.
It was wonderful and very well attended. So thank you to our Caregiving Connection team. You guys did a great job.
Can I just confirm that it's October 22nd at 4 p.m.?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
All right, TV Land, please come. It was wonderful. We need to sign up.
There is food involved, so if they could, you can make sure we have plenty.
Yeah, it would be nice. Okay, furnishings for the lobby areas. What are you doing? I noticed we have a TV up there.
We do. The Rabbits donated a TV that was bigger than the one we use for our movies. So we put that in for movies, and we took the one we were using for movies and put it on a roll cart. So it does go into any room which we need, which if we shut this wall here, the TV's on this side bolted to the wall. So if we had something going on that side, we'd be able to roll it into there or into the front room. That, yeah.
I just have to mention that Jack never saw a TV that he couldn't like. So.
It's true. I moved out there? I thought you stuck it in
It was,
there.
Yours is in there.
Oh, okay.
Yours is in the big, for the TV. That's, yeah.
So
Do
you
you
have
know?
a quiet area for people to congregate now?
They right in front. They all sit there. They sit both spots. Usually each day, both spots are full.
I have noticed a great increase in people that are congregating and meeting and talking, and even after, I can't think of precisely people who have visited or played cricket, they really are using it. Good. That's great.
All right,
Should we mention that the representative from Qualo is going to come in with her mobile?
No, that's Blockhouse.
Blockhouse is coming
Blockhouse.
with a
Mobile
mobile
showroom.
showroom. So we're actually going to have a look at some of the I hate looking at stuff on a website, and it's so hard. It'll be nice to see what's there. What's the date?
I don't think we confirmed.
Oh,
okay, so on to the master plan. So I sent in my resignation to the master plan committee. They were meeting twice a month, and one of them was Zoom. I can't do Zoom. My eyes are just, I can't do it with my eye situation. I can't look at a computer screen for more than 10 or 15 minutes or I will get a migraine. They are coming down to the wire. They want to do a presentation for the town meeting. If anybody wants to take my place, they're welcome, but I have done what I could to represent us repeatedly. It's a third of the town. I brought up that it was a must have a assisted living, and I was met with it's too much of a drain on our emergency teams. But it's in there. That is a must-have. If anybody would like to talk to me about replacing me on the team, please come and talk to me after the meeting. But they're pretty much done. There will be a presentation at town meeting. You're welcome to try to give input if you would like to, but you're welcome to talk to me if you would like to try to replace me. Talk to me if you want. Okay, Sam, for seniors, I guess that's all set. I heard during the select board meeting that that was in place, and there are criteria for that, and it's well publicized, so I guess we can take that off the agenda and turn it over to the director.
When you were talking about AARP, it reminded me too, we're still looking for volunteers. AARP will train you to do taxes for them. We'd like to get one or two, well, you need at least two, because they double check each other's work. So if we could have two people who are retired or looking for something to do, AARP will train you, and you can do taxes here for our seniors. So that'd be a great benefit for us. But like I said, we need those volunteers to step up.
Do you have a rough idea of how much time this would involve for whoever volunteers are?
So the training itself, I'm not sure how long that is. I know it's not really extensive. But as far as here, it can be whatever we want. In the past, I've done it 2 days a week for 9 to noon. So it can be whatever the hours the volunteers have available. It would be just to get through the training, and then they can set a schedule from February through April. Whether it's once a week, twice a week, but it would be really a huge benefit to the seniors here in town. Other than that, we are offering, we have not had anybody sign up yet, but we're offering foot care. And it is private from a doctor who will come here and do foot care. It is private pay, but if you're interested in that, please give us a call. And it is once a month, have your toenails clipped and taking care of all of that. We do have on October 15th, boosting brain function through diet, and that's through MOC. They're going to come talk about that. And also on October 15th, open enrollment starts. And we do have a presentation here at 11:30. You would need to sign up because food is involved. but it would be talking about the new plans that are coming up for this year. So Integrity Medicare Advisors is doing that luncheon and presentation, and they will be here every Wednesday. If you just want to review your plan, make sure you still have the best one for you. Also, we have our second Dull Men's Club on the 16th, and you had a little sample of it earlier during the meeting.
Yeah, it was dull.
I had more laughs at the Dolman Club than I've had in months.
See? Very true. Very true.
That's how dull that was.
And then at the same time as the Dull Men is healthy lifestyle choices as we age. And basically, this is a woman from Lunenburg who is a physician's assistant or nurse practitioner who's going to be doing a monthly series for us on keeping healthy. We also have the Caregiver Resource Connection that we talked about earlier, October 22nd at 4 p.m. And then we do have, of course, we have the Veterans Breakfast, Memory Cafe, all of the regular items. We also have on November 5th, the woman who wrote the book, My Book of Wishes, which is your final wishes, or if you're not able to make those choices for yourself, what would you want them to be? She'll be here doing an evening one at 5:30 on Wednesday the 5th. We already have one during the day, but this is for individuals who weren't able to come. On November 12th, I'm going to be presenting on navigating hospice. A lot of misconceptions on what hospice is and how hospice works. So I was invited to do a presentation at Clark University for Senior Connections in Worcester. So I'm going to do that presentation here for our residents here. We also have on the 12th at 4 o'clock floral arrangement. Kathy Clark from Lunenburg Flowers and Gifts. They're going to do a cornucopia arrangement. So if you want to sign up for that. We also have on the 13th, we're going to see Absolute Queen at Danversport. And that includes lunch, the bus, and everything out to there. We do have on, just everyone's mentioned it previously, but November 18th is a special town meeting at 7 p.m. So November 18th is a Tuesday evening. We do have the Caregiver Resource Connection on the 19th at 11:30. And then on the 20th, we'll be setting up at 3 p.m. for the Festival of Trees. So this entire room will be filled hopefully with little trees. We've had some donations already. Powell Stone and Gravel has donated a nice gift card. So there'll be raffles, there'll be the trees, there'll be a lot of activities. And it'll be all day on the 21st. So from 9 to 5, they can come view the trees and, you know, make your choices, things like that. And then Saturday, we'll be here from 9 to 1. So Santa Claus will be here on Saturday, bring the kids, and see the trees. And when we talk about the trees, they're all different themed. So if Aina loves butterflies, she can do a tree decorated all in butterflies. So we've done them in the past all in purple, in memory of somebody with Alzheimer's. We've done them with sunflowers, people like sunflowers. So it can be whatever theme you want your tree to be, and you donate it, and then, like I said, we raffle them off on Saturday.
How big can these trees?
3 to 4 feet.
All right.
Like
I
I said,
might do a First Amendment separation of church.
No, we don't want big, huge ones. More like tabletop trees. And then we do have Olivia Hayes from the fire department is coming on the 26th to do, as you know, our winter fire safety. That always is very important. You know, people still will plug a space heater into an extension cord. You know, power strips, things like that, which are just so dangerous. So that'll be on the 26th. And then, like I said, we do have our Christmas party. Tickets go on sale soon. And that is going to be on December 10th. It's going to be here. We're going to decorate the hall here beautifully. We're going to have entertainment, and we have Only Catering from Nashua, New Hampshire is going to do the ultimate Italian buffet.
Okay,
Mr.
so
Chairman?
it's on the, oh, yes.
Oh, can I ask a question? Yeah. On the Final Wishes program, and all of us are in the same boat. No matter what you have. At some point, it gets to you have to make some decisions on how you want to pass and how your other members. And I was woken up by my doctor when they handed me a package. I'm not announcing anything like that, but I mean, in terms of planning ahead, and the best time to do it is before you need it. And I know I've given you the package and stuff, and we had talked about potentially having Pauline involved, because it's kind of a quiet thing. You don't do it as a group thing. We can't do it in Delmans. We could though, if you'd like. Wouldn't that be fun? We should do that. So.
Yeah, we talked about doing a PowerPoint, telling people the information and what words, what wording means different things.
Right.
But also too, you can be 26 years old and have a stroke. So it's something that at any age,
Right.
you should have your wishes down. Where are your insurance policies? Where are your bank accounts? What are your wishes? Do you want to be on life support? Do you not want to be on life support? So there's a lot of that involved for every age.
What was the date on that again? I'm sorry.
This is her book. My book of wishes is November 5th at 5:30. My daughter bought me one last year. It says, I'm dead, now what?
Yeah. I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Simon.
Do you want to reiterate your events, just for the,
I think
TBI?
I've said everything, and Deb also, you know, had
all right.
said, you know, as much. So thank you.
Your toll booth again is?
The toll booth is
October 25th.
October 25th,
Okay,
from 8 to 2.
all right.
Yes,
Can I
thank
just
you.
add, Deb, this is really great, groups in town working together. So the Eagle House supporters and the Teen Club are working together on this event. So they've divvied up the hours and they're gonna split the proceeds.
Right.
So I thought that was really a good,
Yes. And again, you know, this Saturday is, we are doing our fundraising with them at the Teen Center with a baker's table. Oh, and thank you to Mrs. McGuigan for baking and for you not to eat the proceeds.
She's not letting me touch it.
Yes,
Not fair.
I have a communication. It's from Fran Therian, who is our latest Century Club recipient. I can't read it. My eyes are so shut, excuse me, I'll do my best. Greetings, Lunenburg Adult Activity Center. Thanking you for hosting the event for my 100th birthday. Thank you, Debbie Lincoln, for your welcome speech and including me in the Century Club and giving me, I can't read this, and an award. And thank you for the citations. The flowers were lovely that were given to me. How gracious of family and friends to come to celebrate with me. It was a great time. Peace to all. Fran Therian. Dear everyone, may one day you will be inducted into the Century Club. All right. I have a board comment. Pauline sent me the updated sign for outside with the new hours, and I talked to D&G Graphics, and that should be arriving sometime this week. So they'll be ready for November. I believe November is the new hours. I did it as soon as she sent it to me, which was a couple weeks ago, and didn't hear anything, and so I got apologies. Whoops! It'll be ready this week, so that should be there. So before we adjourn, I just want to say, come see me about these, and can we get a list of the volunteers? Great, that'd be awesome.
That was
Okay.
what I wanted
Yes.
to add, not just a list, but like the ones that do Meals on Wheels.
Yes,
versus-
yes, yes.
So we know what to thank them for.
Okay, that would be awesome. Thank you.
So can we get an updated council contact list?
Do we not have it?
I don't have an updated yet. Maybe I didn't get it.
I thought we did.
No, I think I.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we did. All right, I just have to find them.
I'll make it possible. I'll make you a copy and send it to you.
Okay.
If you want to
I can have these right now. Just give it to
Okay,
me.
sure.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank you.
so see me if you want to do this. Deb's going to get us a volunteer list. And any other comments before I ask and see if I need to see you? Any other comments before we have a motion to adjourn? I want to say thank you all for, you have been so active and so participatory and so positive. And I want to thank you all. You're all terrific.
My
Thank
only
you.
comment is that we should get together and do a treaty.
Right.
So
Yes,
we have to
yes,
have
yes. All right. So when do we need to be doing the tree? It's November, right?
We can get you the form with all the instructions on it.
Yeah.
Do we want to send a list around for people that are going to do these, so we have people?
Well, I was gonna say if we could do it now.
Oh, okay.
I have the list of the
I just had to-
Tea Party people, and Deb's gonna give us a list of the volunteers, so we can just dig them up now, and you can take these with you if you want. Okay? All right, do I hear a motion to adjourn? So moved. Second? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much. Thank you.